With an estimated net worth of $1 to $1.5 million, Dr. Paul leaves behind more than just financial security, a legacy that moves his family to tears. Widely loved for his dedication to animals, particularly horses, Dr. Paul's wealth was built on years of hard work, love, and sacrifice. But his fortune represents more than just success. It's the culmination of personal struggles, including the heartbreaking loss of his grandson. Join us as we explore the remarkable fortune Dr. Paul leaves behind, one that will last for generations. Dr. Jan Paul's journey is one of dedication and love for animals. Growing up on a dairy farm, he was surrounded by animals from a young age. It was on this farm, with its green pastures and simple lifestyle, that his interest in veterinary medicine began. As a child, he was fascinated by the health of the farm animals and often helped care for them. This early experience inspired him to learn more about animal health, starting a lifelong career in veterinary care. After the war, there was limited capacity to work in the Netherlands, but Dr. Paul did not abandon his dream. He was also trained in veterinary science at Utrecht University, recognized as one of the best universities offering programs in veterinary medicine worldwide. While in this place, he got important experience and cumulative knowledge that led him to achieve his destiny. To Dr. Paul, veterinary medicine was not just a job, but his passion and mission. The Netherlands, however, couldn't contain his growing ambitions. In the 1970s, after meeting his future wife, Diane, Dr. Paul boldly decided to move to the United States. They settled in Michigan, where he began working at a local veterinary practice. This marked the start of a new chapter in his life, filled with challenges. Adapting to a new culture while establishing himself professionally was no small feat. Yet his hard work and compassionate approach quickly earned him a reputation as a dedicated veterinarian. He handled all kinds of cases, from routine checkups to emergency farm calls, often working late into the night to care for his patients. The long hours, however, took a toll. Many nights, Diane sat by the window with their young children, waiting for him to return from a late farm visit. Though he loved his work, missing family dinners, school events, and bedtime stories weighed heavily on him. These sacrifices were the cost of building a better future for his family. After working for many years and saving money in 1981, Dr. Paul, with the help of his wife Diane, established a clinic known as Paul Veterinary Services in Weidman, Michigan. Initially, Dr. Paul worked from a small structure and was willing to travel long distances to treat animals in the countryside. It was brutal during the early stages, mainly due to financial problems and difficulty establishing the business. Diane handled all the economic aspects of the clinic as well as the household responsibilities, since they were raising their children, while Dr. Paul strived to achieve his dreams. Over time, his dedication and hands-on approach paid off. As the rumors of the skill and commitment of this man, more people embraced the practice. As a rural veterinary surgeon, managing a clinic was challenging regarding long working hours, fluctuating weather conditions, and handling large bovines in comparatively isolated areas. However, through immense determination, Dr. Paul built a solid foundation for his future career. Dr. Paul benefited from such challenging practice conditions prevalent in rural areas of animal health services. Growing up on a farm in Holland gave him a tough physique and strength to work with animals and understand their emotions. Still, his veterinary education taught him how to prevent or treat different diseases and disorders. But no matter the moments he lost with his family, he knew what he was doing was for the good of his family's future. Dr. Paul believes that wellness is just as essential for pets as for people. To keep pets healthy, he emphasizes the importance of proper food and regular exercise for both the pet and the owner. He stresses the need to manage a dog's weight, as being overweight can lead to health issues like diabetes, especially in older dogs. While cats may not face the same problems, some lazy cats can still become overweight. Dr. Paul's core message is that pet care should be affordable and sensible, making it accessible for families so that as many children as possible can grow up with pets. Paul Veterinary Services gradually transformed into a prosperous business as the years progressed. Due to his immense skills in his work and his caring nature, Paul had many clients coming to seek his services from all over the country. He also maintained good relationships with farmers and all the people with pets, as he became more than just a doctor of pets. His no-nonsense style and professionalism in dealing with his clients' animals endeared him to those who appreciated his devotion to work. Finally, as the practice grew, so did Dr. Paul's reach and popularity among dental patients. He made a lot of money because he was willing to handle challenging cases that other lawyers shunned. His clients trusted him. Nevertheless, he had to pay the ultimate price to succeed professionally. He was often late for crucial occasions in the lives of his children, and Diane became frustrated as she had to do most of the caregiving for the family. Such sacrifices were a significant burden, but he was unwilling to relent from his duties. Dr. Paul's veterinary career flourished, but life had even greater surprises. The challenges of running a rural practice were only part of his story. A new chapter was about to begin, one that would bring him international fame and fortune. It all started with a television show that would transform the veterinarian from Michigan into a global household name. But how did Dr. Paul rise to television stardom? In 2011, an unexpected golden opportunity knocked on the door of the Paul Veterinary Services. It was initially one small veterinary clinic in rural Michigan, ready to transform into a popular TV show of the reality genre. The main player in this transition was Charles Paul, the son of Dr. Paul. He saw an opportunity to transform his father's work into a series that would not only be focused on the veterinary business, but also the true essence of the raw reality of rural farming. Charles had seen his father's commitment to animals and knew how strange it was just managing the clinic on this day. Special moments where he had to rush at midnight to attend to the distressed animals, and the friendship that he had built with the people known as Dr. Paul were things that he felt could be told. His upbringing in rural Michigan was a blessing because he understands the effort needed to run a farm and tend to pets, but LA gave him the proper equipment to tell this story. Wanting to continue his father's legacy, Charles proposed the idea of reality shows. The concept was simple. Tail Dr. Paul as he conducted house calls and operations and treated various livestock, such as horses and cows, among others, to address issues affecting cats and dogs. He thought the direct tone of his father and his genuine interest in animals would appeal to the audience. He was right. It took Joe some time to pitch the idea to different networks, and finally, National Geographic Wild was interested in the show. Thus, The Incredible Dr. Paul appeared. Since its debut, the program resonated with audiences. It was not a matter of animal treatment and care alone. It was an emotional portrayal of country life, driven by passion and commitment from Dr. Paul. The show was apt for audiences who enjoyed the realism of a comedy series about a veterinarian that didn't sugarcoat the profession and its daily grimes. From a centralized perspective, the public witnessed the achievements and the personal costs that came with the profession of Dr. Paul. The Incredible Dr. Paul attracted a substantial audience when the show was first launched. People tuned into their radios and turned on their television sets to watch and listen to Dr. Paul performing all sorts of surgery operations, up to assisting the birth of calves in the dead of night. However, it was not only the medical cases that people wanted to see, it was Dr. Paul, who had a friendly, humorous personality and a genuine love for animals and their people. Off camera, the birth of the show offered a monetary shoot for the Paul family after years of toil and struggles. But it was also a symbol of the many hours spent working and hours away from family and friends while focusing on a career. While running, The Incredible Dr. Paul gained popularity in America and other parts of the world, making Dr. Paul famous as a vet and TV personality. However, The Incredible Dr. Paul differed from other American reality shows because it did not add too much drama. It focused on real people, real animals, and genuine situations. Dr. Paul's friendly nature and the show's heartwarming and emotional stories created a deep connection with viewers. The series wasn't just about animals and highlighted the people and communities Dr. Paul served. Audiences saw him as a trusted friend who cared deeply for the well-being of both animals and their owners. Over the years, the show has featured many memorable cases, but two unusual ones are especially noteworthy. In one case, Dr. Paul treated a horse suffering from severe abdominal pain, only to find it had been eating car tires. The horse required an intense procedure to save its life. Another strange case involved a cow that had developed a craving for dirt and gravel, causing stomach blockages. Dr. Paul discovered the cow's unusual appetite was due to a mineral deficiency, which he corrected after a complex surgery. These cases tested Dr. Paul's veterinary skills and highlighted farm animal medicine's unpredictable and hands-on challenges. The show's success brought Dr. Paul both fame and financial stability. Its popularity on National Geographic Wild significantly increased his earnings, while his veterinary practice in rural Michigan continued to serve the community. The additional income allowed Dr. Paul to secure a comfortable future for his family. This financial success was a source of pride, especially considering his struggles balancing work and family in earlier years. Despite his wealth, Dr. Paul remained dedicated to his work, often working long hours to ensure animals received proper care. The money generated by the show turned into another success story, as it secured Dr. Paul's family's future for generations. When the series continued one season after another, his success enabled him to make something he never dreamt of for his family. The feelings expressed by his family were so not only concerned with the moving scenes of the show, but also gratefulness for what Dr. Paul created through passion, love for animals, and dedication to the community. What are your thoughts on Dr. Paul's rise to television stardom? Before fame found him through the camera lens, Dr. Paul's main income came from his veterinary clinic, which he established in 1981. Serving the rural farming community, the clinic catered to over 20,000 clients. Even after achieving global recognition, the day-to-day operations of Paul Veterinary Services remained the foundation of his earnings. Despite his growing wealth from television, Dr. Paul never walked away from his clinic. He stayed hands-on, often sacrificing personal time to ensure animals received the needed care. This steadfast dedication kept the clinic profitable and reflected his deep sense of responsibility toward his community and family. Although he managed to establish a successful veterinary practice, Dr. Paul's financial breakthrough came when The Incredible Dr. Paul Show was made in 2011. The show gained tremendous viewership, and he was said to be paid between $30,000 and $40,000 for every episode, though this has increased in recent times. With 24 seasons and over 240 episodes, the show has earned millions for its net worth. It also provided an opportunity to find other sources of income, such as sales of commercial and personal appearances and speeches. Instead of ending his fame, Dr. Paul continued to build on it by authoring a memoir titled Never Turn Your Back on an Angus Cow, that revealed more information about his life and journey from the Netherlands to America to becoming a beloved veterinarian. This, of course, benefited his financial situation as the book became a bestseller. Alongside this, he worked with brands involved in animal care and became a brand ambassador for pet foods, veterinary equipment, and grooming products. These collaborations supported his earnings and further established him as an expert in the field of animal husbandry. For instance, they invested their financial gain, whereas Dr. Paul is known to have property investments, especially in real estate. He lives in Weidman, Michigan, on a large plot of land with the facility of a farm, where he goes on to speculate and tend several animals. Despite his fortune, Dr. Paul maintains a modest lifestyle, with one notable indulgence: receiving a personal tour of garage housing vehicles such as a 1937 Rolls-Royce and a 1981 DeLorean. Behind these luxuries was a man who remembered where he came from and how he struggled to make a life for himself. Thus, Dr. Paul's fortune is much more than financial accumulation. It is the true treasure of love, perseverance, and devotion to one's family. Situations that have made his family go through a terrible time, such as the death of his grandson Adam Butch, made him push harder to secure the future of his family. Every investment, episode, and partnership was driven by his desire to protect and provide for his loved ones. His legacy goes far beyond money. It's a testament to his unwavering commitment to building something lasting for his children and grandchildren, a story of success, love, and an enduring devotion to family. If you were surprised by the wealth behind Dr. Paul's success, imagine how shocking the family tragedies behind it might be. This is the real-life story of Dr. John Paul, who has accomplished so much in his professional career, though he has had his fair share of tragedy in his personal life. One of the biggest disappointments happened in 2019, to be precise. His grandson, Adam James Butch, died at the age of only 23 years. Adam, the boy of Dr. Paul's daughter Kathleen Paul, was an intelligent and hardworking boy with lots of potential. He was a pharmacy technician who graduated from Michigan State University. He was constructing his independent life. Sadly, he died at a young age of his chronic disease, a rumor that crushed the Paul family by losing his essential role. Adam's passing was quite a rude shock to Dr. Paul, mainly because he had been very involved with his grandchildren. It only made him ensure his family was secure for the unknown future, because anything could happen. Such a loss prompted Dr. Paul to decide that only Adam's death gave new meaning to his efforts to achieve wealth. The monetary profit from his business as a veterinarian and television program became more than just success. It became a middle for his family's safety and future under any circumstance. The loss of his beloved wife meant not only the emotional support and love, but Paul remained devoted to his family and their financial security. Apart from the death of Adam, the Paul family has undergone other trials that have made them grow stronger as a family. Managing a successful veterinary practice while filming The Incredible Dr. Paul has created significant stress over the years. However, through these hardships, Dr. Paul has remained steadfast in his belief that family is at the heart of everything he does. He often emphasizes that his professional and personal pursuits are driven by his love for his family and his commitment to their future. Dr. Paul's work and wealth have always been about more than just material success. They represent a legacy of care, resilience, and love. It is a legacy meant to cater to the family in the worst times and all aspects of life possible. Dr. Paul's goal of creating a lasting legacy for his family has motivated him to ensure that he is not a rich man today and broke tomorrow. Still, there will be future generations in the Paul family who will also reap from his success. The fortune Dr. Paul left behind for his family is not just the financial capital he endowed them, but years of toil, efforts, dedication, and love towards animals and his family. Thus, when his family realizes the scale of his activity, income, and wealth he has accumulated, the life he has created for a peaceful future, and the family itself, they are only overwhelmed. The tears shed were not only for the money he earned, but also for the time spent on them, whereas he worked late at night, took care of the animals, and ensured the family business was running. The loss of Adam brought the family closer in their grief, but it also deepened Dr. Paul's resolve to ensure his family's future was secure. He's not just leaving behind money, he's providing them with love, stability, and the reassurance that he worked tirelessly to ensure their well-being. Beyond the financial aspects, Dr. Paul's family must also come to terms with the emotional weight of his legacy. They've witnessed his lifelong dedication to veterinary medicine and unwavering support for their needs. Now, as they reflect on his accomplishments, they understand the true magnitude of his efforts. The tears they shed are as much for the man they love as for the wealth he leaves behind. As they reflect on Dr. Paul's contributions to both their family and the world of veterinary care, his family feels immense pride. However, with that pride comes a bittersweet realization that personal losses, sacrifices, and moments of hardship shaped his legacy. The fortune Dr. Paul will leave behind carries the weight of a man who gave everything for those he loved, people and animals. His name will live on as a symbol of humility, dedication, and an unshakable commitment to his family and profession. Dr. Paul's journey teaches us the power of hard work, resilience, and the importance of family.